And Robert Costa joins us now from Houston. Robert, Saturday marks day 2 of this weekend's NRA convention. Given the mourning currently taking place in that state, is the event more subdued?
The event's a little bit more subdued today inside the convention center because it does not feature the high-profile speeches we saw on Friday. But today is all about political organizing. Many meetings are scheduled on that front.
And Robert, it sounds like there's some voices that we're hearing there. I know that you have been both inside and outside the NRA convention talking to protesters and talking to NRA card-holding members. Several Republican politicians canceled appearances at the convention. But in your report, we saw former President Donald Trump and Texas Senator Ted Cruz speaking at the event. How did they discuss the massacre? Was there any sense that the Robb Elementary School shooting eased their firm opposition to gun safety legislation?
There's no wiggle room here when it comes to gun legislation. You see a hard line being taken by the speakers on stage, whether it's former President Trump, Senator Ted Cruz, and others. In Washington, it's a bit of a different story. Senator John Cornyn of Texas, a Republican, is engaged with discussions with Democrats at the moment, but where that all goes is to be determined. It's a little bit of a rowdy scene this afternoon on Saturday outside. Some Proud Boys have just arrived on the scene, mingling with protesters. Recall, the Proud Boys were the right-wing group that participated, some of them at least, in the march on the Capitol, the attack on the Capitol, January 6, 2021.
So that's some of what we're hearing there. Robert, you also, as we saw, spoke with Texas Democratic Representative Sheila Jackson Lee while attending Friday's protest. I'm going to play a little bit more of the harsh words that she had to say about the NRA.
The gun lobby that only stands on money and shame. That's all they stand on. That's all the gun lobby is about. It's not about doing anything reasonable. We can do gun training in schools. The police departments can train you. The FBI can train you. There are many entities that can provide gun training. The question is, are they willing to stand up for gun safety legislation?
So, Robert, remind us, what's the purpose of the NRA and how did it grow to wield such immense influence over Republican lawmakers? And why specifically, to the representative's question there, are they so opposed to any gun safety legislation?
It's a complicated story, but in short, the NRA for decades has been entrenched politically with the Republican Party, though many Democrats decades ago were much more in line with the NRA's position on firearms. But in recent years, especially as the Democratic Party has embraced more proposals for gun legislation, it's the Republican Party working with the NRA that have become a political powerhouse, especially in Republican primaries, where many Republicans are wary of diverting from the NRA position.
Well, we know that the national polls say that Americans and even gun owners, the majority of which are in favor of certain measures for gun safety. The NRA was dealing with shrinking membership and revenue before the Texas shooting. Is there any sense that the group is losing its grip on policymaking?
It's a different thing to ask about the NRA versus the NRA's position on guns. The NRA has certainly had challenges. Institutionally, its leadership has been beset by scandals, spending questions about how it handles itself bureaucratically. That has plagued the organization in recent years, but its position has not eroded inside of the Republican Party's base. That position on the Second Amendment, on gun rights, it remains pervasive and essentially as strong as it has been in decades, including a decade ago when gun rights came to the fore again with the Sandy Hook massacre.
All right, Robert, thank you.